It's great to have you here, and it's great to know that there's C-suite attention to this important issue. You have a very important portfolio, but it's great that you're involved in providing leadership for this. And I know you have inherited, I think the technical term is a mess, and I recognize and I appreciate your comments about how to prevent the next census from being in a similar position. So I appreciate that. And when some of your predecessors were here last time, there was a debate about whether the Census Bureau should develop a widget that uses the telecommunications backbone that the enumerator can put data in. And the question was, that widget already exists. It's called a smartphone. And I'm glad to know that the Census Bureau decided to use, I believe, smartphones. And my question around that is, have we discussed or have plans, have you and the CIO for the Census Bureau had some conversations around the security of whatever device is going to be used by the enumerators?
Yes, we've had consultation not only within the department, but with Homeland Security, with FBI, with the intelligence community, with the overall CIOs in the government and in commerce. So we're building in the best firewalls and routers that we possibly can. But having said that, there's probably some 13-year-old kid in a garage somewhere trying to figure out how to penetrate it. So in today's world, you do your best, but you can't be 100% sure, unfortunately.
You have to begin with the assumption of breach. I did this for a living. I never not got in. But the fact that there is, again, focus from your office on the security of these systems. And I know that there is 43 systems that have to be delivered for end-to-end testing in 2018, and only 4 of those have been delivered. And I know there's been some conversations on that. And you know, my concern is the Bureau is going to have to get the authorizations to operate, the ATOs for each one of these systems. And I know some of these, a section of these 43 systems already have ATOs, but they're going to need to get new ones because the systems is evolving. And I'm curious in the strategy that you and your IT team have discussed on ensuring that we have those ATOs in time to protect those personally identifiable information, especially on those 33 systems that do have PII.
Well, there are actually more than 50 systems that'll be involved, and then their uses are to update and maintain the address list to enable people to respond via the internet, to identify the households that have not responded in order to send interviewers to them, to manage the work of the interviewers, and to recruit and pay the field workforce. Those are just a few examples of the kinds of systems. Systems also capture, process, and tabulate all of the data collected on the people living in the United States. We're monitoring the progress of all of these systems, and each one is at a different stage of completion as we sit here.
And so what is your strategy to ensure that these systems are delivered and they have the ATOs necessary to get this done?
Well, we're trying to apply enough pressure on the contractors and enough surveillance of them to deal with the glitches that inevitably will come up. There will be unexpected problems in each area, and that's why we have allowed the 10% contingency, because most of these problems that come up can be solved. It's a question of how many people it takes and at what cost.
And Mr. Secretary, I'd like to offer that we would love to talk to those folks those contractors that may not be delivering on time and have them join you at this table to ensure that this census is done properly. And my last question in my remaining 2 seconds, why did the head of the census, the former director, Thompson, leave the Bureau?
Well, I think he has issued a public statement about why he left. I did not know him very well, so I can't really judge of what his motivations were. He has found other employment in the statistical community, and he actually held a press conference at the National Press Club a week or two after he resigned and explained what his motivations were.
Good copy. Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I yield back the time. I do not.